Really rare items. I will show you over here. Let me put that on the table here. For example, here we have another super rare color chart from Leckler. This is from the early 50s.
Wow.
And these colors at the time were used for the early 50s Ferraris.
And this one has been used on a...
It's the original thing, okay? By Leckler. This was the manufacturer from Ponte Chiasso Como.
Yeah.
But then it gets even rarer. Let's say we talk about the interior, and the factory documents say that the leather was Arbotan 832. This is the leather. Think about this leather.
Yeah.
It's thick, it's grainy, it's very rare, and this is the real thing. Such samples you cannot find anymore these days. And this is from the original. They're very precious. They're very, very precious. And if you imagine strange colors of leathers, like for example this, you have an interior like this.
Wow.
But this is what happened back in the early 50s, you know. So this is super rare. That's the sort of thing you have to have. Without that, you cannot restore a car.
Exactly.
Because you may know you have the paperwork that says, okay, it has this color, but how does it look like?
Yeah,
so you need this, okay?
Wow. This is amazing. And this is like 45 years of researching everywhere.
Oh yeah. This I call the potato sack. The potato sack is the interior of the Ferrari 365 GT4 Berlinetta Boxer. The early Berlinetta Boxers had a cloth seat material like this one. Okay, so sacco patate, potato sack. These are great samples to work with. Imagine, it was not leather, it was not Connolly, it was not Franzi, it was like this.
It was potato sack.
It was sacco patate. It's fun, you know?
Yeah,
that's the sort of thing I like.
You are like, this is a time machine.
It is a time machine. It helps me to support the owners during the restorations. Many restorers ask me for help, and you have to have these samples.
Otherwise
you're lost. You can't do it. So this is the sort of thing. Also what I do sometimes when I do a documentation, maybe you are interested in looking how does such a documentation look like.
Oh, cool.
This is a documentation I did for the owner of a Ferrari 400 Super America a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, this is how you do it.
4 years ago. That's the chassis number. So this is the full documentation here. It contains everything. From day one, all the paperwork, all the photos, all the documents, just everything. This is what the owner gets at the end of the day. This is a lot of work to do. You have to compile all these documents and stuff and put it all together and then make a nice presentation book like this one. And we did this book exactly as the interior of this particular car was originally. In the same color with the same style of the interior. This is fun, you know.
Do you do them here in Switzerland?
Yes, we did that in Switzerland. This is quite nice.
This is really nice.
This is the sort of stuff I do. Then there was a time before digital photography. It was called analog. Younger people don't know about that. And we did
Yeah.
We did slides, all right?
Yeah.
Transparencies.
Diapositive.
Diapositive. So here we have 60,000, 60.000.
60.000.
60.000 diapositive. They are all identified. These are all pictures which I took in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s.
Wow.
During my travels. Unfortunately, all of these diapositive have not yet been scanned in because I don't have the time to do it.
You should hire someone to do it.
I'm still dreaming of one of these beautiful blonde Californian ladies that is able to scan it all in. It's not the problem. The biggest problem what I have is it's not the beautiful lady. The problem is at the same time when you scan in, you have to add the information to the picture in the computer. That is the big job.
Yeah, exactly.
The pure scanning alone is not the problem.
Yeah, exactly. You got to add all the information.
Every single diapositive is identified with type, chassis number, owner, location and date. Okay, this is from 1994, all right? But when you scan it in, you must add this information at the same moment to this particular photo, otherwise you're lost.
We will gladly do it for free if you want.
If you get the feeling. So it's full.
Wow.
It's full, okay? Full. So
Oh my god, yeah.
there's a lot of work.
I mean, yeah.
One day when I retire, maybe I start scanning it in.
Yeah. I will help you if you want. This is amazing. Oh my god, look at that.
Yeah, it's full.
Yeah.
And every single diapositive is identified. That's most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is part of the collection. But let's go to the other room here. There's more to see. Here is more material, of course. I collect all the official Ferrari publications from the early yearbooks up until the latest yearbooks. I collect all the Ferrari brochures and documents, dépliants and catalogs and books and magazines that has come out since 1947. I have, let me say, when I research a Ferrari that was raced at the Mille Miglia 1954, I can look up in the old Auto Italiana car magazines. Maybe I find a report about a particular race in one of these old Italian magazines. This helps me a lot. So I have all these Auto Italiana and Auto Sprint magazines from 1948 up until the 70s.
Do you make them or you bought them the way they are?
No.
You made them?
It took me 10 years to collect every single issue all over the world at swap meets, at Imola, in Reggio Emilia, in Modena, in Padova, etc. And only when I had 1 year together with all the 26 issues or the 52 issues, I had them bound like these books are today. So this is 10 years of work to collect it and to bring it all together.
Wow.
Okay? All right.
Wow, this is amazing.
There's a lot of work, yes. Then, of course, I have books about, let's say I research a car that was raced in Le Mans. I have 20 books about Le Mans, the event, or about the Gran Premio di Monaco or Mont Ventoux or whatever race it is, Targa Florio. I can look it up. I work for all these auction companies, for RM Sotheby's, Gooding, Bonhams, R. Curial, and many, many more. So I have to have all the catalogs, of course. Then I also need the technical documentation from Ferrari. These are the various spare parts catalogs and Prontuario Tempi, etc. from the Ferrari factory about all the Ferrari models. There's roughly 150 of these binders that came out. They're important when you need to look at certain details in the cars. What I like very much is stuff like that. Old Ferrari factory invoices. For example, these are invoices from 1964, the original invoices, where a car, this was a 250 GT Lusso, was sold on the 8th of January 1964. So these are the original invoices at the time.
Wow.
I have all of that. And these are not copies, these are the originals. That's most important, of course. And it gives you all the details about the interior, the exterior color, the chassis number, the price paid, and all that. And it goes back to really early cars, such as 1956 here. So this is really rare. And let's see, 1956, 1957, etc., etc.
Wow.
Ricambi per vettura Ferrari Spider, etc., etc. This is quite interesting.
Those were all typed by hand also, which
Oh,
is like no computers.
We had no computers in the 50s and 60s, absolutely no computers. Or then the delivery notes are quite interesting as well. Factory delivery notes, this is from 1954 for a Formula 1 car that was delivered to Belgium. The engine type, the chassis number, vettura monoposto montato su quattro atterraggi, verniciata, gommate, Dunlop, etc. Everything. This is the original Rimesso from 1954.
1954, yeah.
It's cool. Francorchamps.
Yeah, Francorchamps,
Yeah,
yeah.
at the time, yeah. So this is cool.
This is amazing.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I like. But also I like, let me show you something else. I collect these certificates of origin. These are all the original certificates of origin from 1956 here. Issued by the Chamber of Commerce in Modena at the time. And interestingly, at the time the name of the company was still called Avio Autocostruzione, invece di Scuderia Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's quite cool, this kind of stuff. So these are really original certificates of origins. But what you may like as well, this kind of stuff here. This is an original check from Luigi Chinetti Motors in America, paying to Ferrari $5,755 for a Ferrari with the chassis number and everything. This is the original check. Okay. And then it's signed by Enzo Ferrari.
Yeah, with the famous purple.
When the check was cashed.
Yeah, with the
Sent
famous
to the
purple
bank.
ink, right?
Yep. So that's quite cool. Here we have a check for a race car. This is from 1970, a Ferrari 512S, chassis number 1006. $5,000. Original check by Luigi Chinetti Motors to Ferrari. And then again, cashed by Ferrari in Maranello. Stuff like that. This is the sort of thing I like. It's very cool. These are all originals signed by Enzo Ferrari here, etc.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't dare to ask you where you find them.
You know how it is in Italy. You're driving on the motorway, you're tired, it's dark. In front of you, you still have 200 miles to go before you come up in Modena. And everybody wants to be in the hotel as soon as possible. So in front of you is a truck driving on the motorway, and suddenly the door of the truck opens up and stuff falls out. And because you're environmentally interested, you stop and you pick it up. You don't want to have that stuff laid around, all the paperwork that would ruin the world.
And you found those there? What?
Of course not.
Oh, of course.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Completely.
Guida sull'autostrada,
Yeah.
la porta del camione si apre, e
Sì,
poi
sì.
you pick it up.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Okay.
I get it. I get it. Ho capito.
There is more.
Ho capito. Mi piace rojo così.
More stuff here. So I'm member of all the Ferrari clubs in the world, especially those that are producing a magazine. It can be the Ferrari Club of Japan, it can be the Ferrari Club of Russia, it can be the Ferrari Club of Dubai, or it can be the American Ferrari Club, of course, and many others. And I collect all these magazines because they do contain information, and every day I basically get some publication from a corner in the world. And I work with that stuff and I fill up my database. And if you do that for a long time, you end up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I also collect all the owner's manuals. These are all owner's manuals from Ferrari. So basically it starts more or less here with the 275 GTB in 1965. And I have all of these owner's manuals up to the latest ones, no matter what it is. This is a Dino 308 GT4 here, or it can be, I don't know what it is, I have to look it up. There we go, 348 in US version. And I do not simply collect the English version. I give you an example, the LaFerrari, Ferrari LaFerrari. They made the owner's manual, they published the owner's manual in 11 different languages. From Korean to Spanish to English to German to Italian, and I have all 11 versions of the owner's manual.
Wow.
So maybe I have a client in Turkey that has a LaFerrari and he might have an issue, some problem, and the guy doesn't have the owner's manual, but I have it and I can help him.
Cool.
That's why I need it.
Informations, right?
The information, it's all about information.
It's all about the
I'm a junkie, I'm an information junkie, all right?
Wow, this is amazing, thank you.